And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
Boom. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Shaping Success Morning Coffee, where I sit down and I drink coffee and talk, run my mouth, tell you about what I'm going through, hopefully help you if you're going through the same thing. I got this weird thing on my eye right now. I'm going to point. Let's see if I got to point with this finger. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look at that a little bit closer. Maybe it's called age. I got bags under my eyes. Is that what's going on? I need to get some of those little things you put underneath your eye to make it go away. I'm getting old. So this is going to be it for the year. And it's funny when I talked to someone yesterday on the phone, and I always feel kind of corny saying it's like, we'll see you next year, because they're not working today, and I am. But a lot to be thankful for about this year. And I think when you sit back and you realize that there has been some trials and errors and failures and things like that, that it's really important to sit back and think and realize that, there you are, you're there. To sit back and realize that even though there are things that you hated and things that you didn't want to go through and the things that happened this last year, man, it's tough because I want to tell you some other things, and we'll talk about this first. But there's a whole bunch of things that happen, and you have to be willing to work through it. And we'll talk about that a little bit more, because I just want to do a little recap on where the podcast is right now. Because there's goals. You know, we always do these stupid New Year's resolutions, and I don't do them. I don't care. You're going to make a change. You need to make change anytime when you decide you're going to make the change. It's like a diet. You sit there and you go like, I'll do it on Monday. I'm going to eat like a pig today. I'll do it on Monday. I'll start on Monday. Why do you got to start on Monday? Why can't you start on a Wednesday? Why can't you start now? And I saw, I can't remember his name. It's a book I read, but he was talking about embracing the suck and quitting alcohol forever for the rest of his life. And, he did that yesterday. So if you've got something that you want to do, why wait till the first? Get that shit done now. I hate that. I hate New Year's resolutions. But, it's been great. I found a couple things that I enjoy doing, and that's talking and doing this every single day with you guys. And I just hope that it grows. I hope that it gets bigger. I hope that it continues to push forward. Podcast stats, you're watching this live. I think I prefer video over audio, and I call it a podcast, and a lot of people are like, oh, your podcast this morning. And it's like, we watched it. Well, podcast is audio, but you can make a video and audio. And I think what happened is everyone calls Joe Rogan's a podcast, and he started to do it that way. And then next thing you know, it goes on to audio, it goes on to Spotify. And it's like, that's it. I just got on video and I started talking, and that's what I've been doing. And I've done it more and more. And the growth is great. I've been doing this for 4 years now. I'm looking at the download stats right now, 45.2K downloads on the audio part of it. I hit 25,000 views on YouTube, thanks to some great people helping me out. Nikki helps me get those shorts out. I post the live videos. I needed to be better about getting more information on those, but I feel like if people are going to find me, they're going to find me. The right people find me. The right people are here. And I just have a great bunch of people, some great people helping me. Dogged ID helped me quite a bit this year, and he's been going through some stuff, and it's good to have different people on your team, in your corner, building you up, helping you grow in all those different ways. TikTok, I'm getting close. I'm almost at 23K followers on TikTok, which you watch this live. Sometimes there's people in there right now. We're almost there. Getting closer to 23K. It says 23K on there, but I still got like 38 to go to get to 23K. And it's been a jump or a long time. It doesn't grow as fast as it used to. There used to be times where you could get a viral video and like, boom, everyone's watching. But I consistently post and trying to get, I wasn't very consistent yesterday, but I consistently post and try to get people to engage in conversation with me on TikTok and get in the conversation with it. So it's pretty cool. We do the motivational music hour. People jump in. Nikki and I do. Hang out with us. listen to music, talk about the music that motivates us. One Drink Wednesday on Instagram Live every Wednesday. We do that. Jan and I do, my friend Jay Finning, which I'm going to show you guys this because I think it's really cool. But if you collect silver, and I'm showing this, and I'm going to talk about it so you guys know. But what I'm holding here right now in my hand is a 2.34 ounce of silver made by my friend Geej Wiles, Ahab's Adventure. And you can't see the writing on it, so I'm just going to tell you what it says. But he does these series with this metal. And so for Jay this year, Jay does a lot of stuff. And if you guys don't know who my friend is, Jay, he's got Acura NSX. He's just a friend that I met through podcasting, and that's the kind of things that he podcasts as well. And he helps me with everything that I do. And so my friend Geej makes silver, and I thought, Jay had wanted a piece of silver, and Geej and I we actually got Payette Brewing here in Boise, Idaho, to make a beer for Ahab's Adventures, which you need to go check that out. Go wherever you're at, go to Instagram and check out Ahab's Adventures and just kind of see what he does. But he carries around this 3-foot garden gnome, and his name is Captain Ahab, and there's a really cool story behind it. You can go listen to it on the actual podcast. And it's pretty cool what he does. But anyway, he made this silver for me. And Jay makes these pins of his car. His car is kind of a famous one. Well, his previous car is kind of a famous one, and the one that he has now is pretty rare. But he always has like pins, and he has like they're numbered. So this is one of 200, and having the number 1 of 200 is really cool to have. So Geej releases those bars, and he does them in like 50. And I asked him to create a special one for me and Jay. He's like, well, I have this X series that what I was going to do is what I didn't sell, I was going to melt down and use for something else. And no one can ever get them. So they're rare. Like they're done. He's like, I'm done making them. I'm not selling them anymore. And he says, what I can do is I can stamp ODW on there for One Drink Wednesday for you and Jay, because you've been doing this for so long. And then we'll make it one of 2 and 2 of 2. And I wanted Jay to get one of 2 because, one is more, it's the original, right? The first one, the very first one. And then I got 2 of 2. Well, the bar also has the stamp on the X series when he made it, and they're numbered in order of what they made them. So he stopped handing them out at 29. So that I have 30 and Jay has 31. So they're kind of backwards. So we both kind of got this cool little rare thing because we're the only ones that have it, and the rest are going bye-bye. So kind of cool. Got to sneak around that though. But 2,215 people on YouTube subscribing, and we are. Thanks, Marty. Appreciate that. Trying to go back and forth between TikTok here. But, we're getting through it. I want to talk to you a little bit about what I said in the beginning, though, now, because that was, now here comes the ramble. In the beginning, I was talking about how there are so many things that people struggle with, and they look at it as a bad thing. And, I don't say that anytime you find the answer, you think that the answer is always going to be good forever, right? Like you may have to, like when you set a goal, you have to have aspirations for something after that, or you're just going to get bored, or you're just going to be complacent. And complacency is a tough thing to deal with. I don't ever want to be complacent. I want to be always striving to do more. I don't want to be comfortable. And I got uncomfortable a lot this year. And I started thinking about the uncomfort of being uncomfortable and how it helps me to be better, to be stronger, to do more, to continue to want to just be more. And I had noticed a lot of things that had happened. We bought this house this year. My pay structure got changed a little bit. We thought we were going to lose this house. And we were just going to sell it because we needed to. And then we started talking about it, and we doubled down, and we started working a little bit harder and found that we could make it work. I've been building out the studio, just a lot of things. And I had a conversation with someone this year that I hadn't talked to in a long time, which was really cool. And he was talking to me about something that when he was a kid and what his parents taught him, because my parents, I don't know, they taught me a lot of stuff, but like everyone says something different, everyone does something differently. And he was talking about cleaning the toilet. Okay. And he said, my parents used to tell me when I was cleaning the toilet, I had to do it no matter what. And I had two choices about how I did it. I could be pissed off and grumpy and grouchy and complain about it, or I could do it with a little joy in my soul. And I kind of took that as interesting because no matter what we go through, and I try to do this, is try to find the joy in anything that you're doing. And as crappy as it sounds, because we're talking about the toilet, getting that toilet clean when you're done, you've accomplished something. No matter what you're doing, you've accomplished something. And if it is easy as cleaning the toilet, and if you can just have a little bit of joy and find the good in what's going on with that, like, okay, now I don't have to see this grossness on the toilet. I don't have to see it shiny. And we can all think about what happens with toilets on our own because they get disgusting. But find joy in what you're doing. That's awesome, Cloudy. No matter what it is, you have to do it. And so I've been struggling with my daughter, trying to find a way to get her to find joy in the things that she's doing. And creating those thought processes young is hard to do. And she's had these really bad, she has outbursts all the time. Like you tell her to do something and she just kind of screeches and screams, tells you, I don't want to, like there's all this argument in what she's doing. And I'm trying to find a way to make her be willing to do better. And it's hard to motivate. Every kid is different. My son Nolan right now says no all the time to everything. Hey, do this. No. Do this. No. And it's like, that's not going to be the answer. And I was thinking the other day, it's like, man, this is how do people raise kids and get through it? And it's a crapshoot because every single person is different. So every single child is different. You can't raise them the same ways. And I've been trying to find a way to motivate her. And I'm knocking on my desk because it is made of wood right now because I think we've found something that will get her to do what she's doing. And basically what we did was I took 2 mason jars and I grabbed this bag of change that I've had for a while. It's like huge bag, like some people used to just throw your change wherever. Well, I've had this bag of change for a long time, and I have way more than $10 in quarters in there, but I grabbed out $12 in quarters. So I took one jar and I put $10 in it. And I took the other jar and I put $2 in it, all in quarters. And so if she does one of these things that I do not like, so we do this for a week. This is a new thing. We just started doing this this is day 4, day 5. And it's been really good. But if she does, she gets $10 in the one jar, and I put 2 in there because I want to motivate her that she could get more than 10 if she does better or does things on her own. Like if we catch her doing something good, we're going to give her another quarter. If she screeches, we made her write down a list of the things that she can get quarters taken away for. So she's taken ownership and trying to figure out how to keep what she has and how to lose what she has. And so we told her whatever is in that jar at the end of the week is hers. So she gets to keep it, and then we'll refill it again with $10. So it's kind of like making her earn her allowance through doing the things that we are wanting her to do. And it's crazy. The last couple days, she has done so many different things. She's helped clean up without asking. She stopped the screeching for the most part. She's stopped telling us she's not going to do something. We ask her to do it. She does it. It's crazy, that little bit of motivation. And I think we finally found something that is going to kind of motivate her. And when she gets that money at the end of the week, it's up to her how much is in there. It could be $10. It could be $12. It could be $0. But she has to find a way to do the things that we're asking her. And I hope it works out. It seems to be working out. So pretty cool. But with that, anything that you do, it's tough to sometimes find the joy in it. And I think that if you can find the joy, and there's a book called Embrace the Suck, and I think that's what that's the guy that I was talking about who quit alcohol for the rest of his life. You have to be willing to embrace the suck. All right, Cloudy says everybody's currency is different. Some respond to actual money, some quality time or praise. Individuals really are individuals, and that's exactly true. That is 100% true. And I think that when you figure that out, no matter what you're doing, when you figure that out, it's crazy and it unlocks something. As a manager, as a teacher, as a whatever, you have those different personalities. I remember when I was teaching high school PE or when I was coaching high school baseball, like those kids have different ways of getting reactions, and what yelling and screaming does for one kid doesn't do for another. So you have to figure out what motivates them and how to do it. And everyone is different. Every individual person is different. I was talking to Robert Watson about getting screamed at. And I told you this before. I've told this story before, but when I was in high school, I was offensive lineman, and I was at practice one day, and I could not, for some reason, stop this guy from rushing outside. Kept getting quarterback at practice. And here you are, this all-state lineman, and you can't stop the guy. And the coach comes over and grabs me, and he goes, "Get over here." What in the, just started going off. And then, elevating his voice. And now I know that he's serious. And now I know that I need to figure this out. And grabbed me by the shoulder pads and brace, step, bruise, step, brace, step. Just like kept grabbing me, moving me back. I don't know what the problem is. You've done this, I know I've done it 1,000 times. I'm good at what I do. But for some reason that day I couldn't do it. And all I needed was that yelling and screaming at "What is up, Lindsay?" on TikTok or on YouTube. But all it took is that yelling and screaming to get me motivated. Now, if you do that to the guy standing next to me, he shuts down. And the coach recognizes that, and the coach knows that. So that guy's the guy that I got to go take and pull aside and have a talk with him, not in front of anyone else, not berate him in front of other people, because that's not what motivates him. But he knew what motivated me. And we have to figure out what motivates yourself and what you need to hear. And if you have to be mean to yourself, like yell at yourself, because that's what it takes, then you have to. I was digging post holes I used a post hole digger to dig holes for these trees that I planted outside last year. And I can't say last year yet because it's not last year yet. This year. And I kept telling myself, what would David Goggins do? Because if you've ever listened to David Goggins' book, he busts his butt no matter what and has to tell himself that. So Nikki says, "Don't yell at me." As a kid, it scared me. Yep, exactly. As an adult, it pisses me off. So, but that's the difference between people, right? It pissed me off enough to make me do the right thing, and not the, to make the right step. It pissed me off enough that it made me want to do it right, because I didn't want to get yelled at. I wanted to please people, and I wanted to, I don't want to have to ever get yelled at. I want to know that I'm working so damn hard that there's nothing to yell at me about. And so when I get yelled at, I take it personal and use it as fuel to not do it again. Right. And that's the thing. Like the hard part is knowing that. And I look at like my daughter, because if I yell at my daughter, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same reaction for me that it had for her. So everyone's different. Oh, it's been a great year. As we wind down, I'm just about to pop off here. There's so much more to come. Let's talk about some of these goals. I talked yesterday about there being, certain goals that I have, and I zoom out, because we have to zoom out, right? And look at the big picture of what we're trying to do. So when you start something, if you're looking just on the low level of what it is, you have to realize what the big picture is, all right? I want to start a YouTube channel. Okay, great. Why? Well, I want to get the podcast out more. Okay, great. Well, why? And then what does that look like? Because I want people to be successful. What does it look like? What is the big picture? What can you do? And I had a goal last week of hitting 2,200 subscribers on YouTube before the end of the week. And that wasn't very much at that time, but it was a stepping stone to get to 10,000, right? Because the next big goal is 10,000, but I need to figure out a way to get to 5,000 first. So the idea behind YouTube for me right now is to get it to 5,000. The podcast, I want to be realistic about it. I've got 45,000 downloads. I want to get that to at least 60 by next year. But, I can't wait till the day when I see 1 million. And so zoom out. What's the big picture? That's the goal, to get it to 10,000. I think that it's a realistic goal to get it to 5 this next year. And even bigger. All it takes is one shot. So there's a lot of things going down to try and do that. This morning coffee helps get the word out there. So if you guys are watching Morning Coffee, if you're listening on YouTube, if you're watching the podcast or listening to podcast audio, share it. Help people get it out there. Help me get it out there. If you want to help the show, join the Patreon. As little as $3 a month, you get bonus episodes, you get all kinds of cool stuff. And then it's just a great way to help support a lot of things that go on within this studio that I'm trying to do. Because as you all know, I don't do this for a living. I do this for fun right now. My wife calls it a hobby. I think of it as my goal is, like, there's a lot of things that are happening because, like, I'm doing this morning coffee now, which is 5 days a week, which is going to go to 4 days a week. And I'll tell you why. Robert Watson, a friend of mine, is writing a book, and it's all about coaching and all about making people better and the things that he's been through to help other people see that they can do that. He's sharing that with the world, right? And that's what I do. It's the same thing I do, so it goes hand in hand. So every Wednesday, Robert and I are going to break down a chapter in his book. Maybe it'd take us 2 Wednesdays to get through each chapter, but they're essays of things that have happened and with data to back it up and things like that. So we're going to do that every Wednesday. I'm going to continue to do interviews for Shaping Success because I think that that's where it started. That is the cream of the crop. I don't know. That's not the right word, but that's the basis of what it was, talking and interviewing people. So if I get people that I really think need to get their voice out and listen, we're going to do an interview and we'll sprinkle the interviews in. So Shaping Success is the interviews. Shaping Success Morning Coffee is the daily. And then we're working on a title for the middle one, for the Wednesday one. But that's Robert and I will be doing that. And if you don't know Robert Watson, you should follow him on TikTok. He's on Instagram. He's everywhere else. He's got a book coming out at the end of January, and we're going to talk about that. So that's where it's going. That's what's going to happen this year, okay? And the goal is to get that YouTube up there and to get the podcast out there. If you've listened to the podcast and you listen to it on Apple, please do a review so that it, we can get that. It's been a long time since a review. Reviews help. Share it. If you see one of the videos on TikTok, which is where I post most of my videos, repost it, share it, comment, keep that stuff going, okay? Trying to build the Shaping Success Network, and it's starting with my shows, but there may be other people. I may be producing another show for someone else, and that's it. One Drink Wednesdays, Motivational Music Hour, these things happen. I'm everywhere, and I'm trying to just grow. And that's the big picture, is to turn it into something that everyone can be part of. And I appreciate all your support. You guys rock. And until next year, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.